Hello everyone! Welcome to Teacher Frel TV! Our subject for today is English 4, Quarter 3, Week 5. Melc-Based. Let's learn about using graphic organizer in text read. At the end of this lesson, you are expected to tell what happens at the beginning, middle, and end of the story using story sequence organizers. Hello kids! Today, we are going to learn about using graphic organizer in text read. What is a graphic organizers? Graphic organizers are visual charts and tools used to represent and organize a student's knowledge or ideas. They are often used as a part of the writing process to help students map out ideas, plot character details, and settings before beginning to write. As part of reading process, graphic organizers require students to stop and think about what is important while they are reading. They are great to use as a tangible way for students to record their thinking before, during, or after reading. Sequencing is a reading comprehension strategy that helps students identify the components in a story, including the beginning, middle, and end. The signal words like first, next, then, and finally are used to show the order of events. It also involves the ability to summarize and retell the events in a story or text in the order in which they happen. Let us read the paragraph, then answer the questions below. At 5 o'clock in the morning, the sun came up. A friendly ladybug flew in from the left. It saw a leaf with many aphids on it and decided to have them for breakfast. But just then, a grouchy ladybug flew in from the right. It too saw the aphids and wanted them for breakfast. And now, answer the following question. First question, when did the story happen? Read the part. Very good. At 5 o'clock in the morning, the sun came up. Second question, where did the story happen? Read the part. Very good. A friendly ladybug flew in from the left, but just then a grouchy ladybug flew in from the right. Third question, what do you call this part of the story? Very good. This story tells about when and where the story happened. It is at the beginning part of the story. Fourth question, do all stories need setting? Why? Very good. Yes, all the stories have a setting, and through this, we can able to determine when and where the story happened. Fifth question, who are the characters of the story? Very good. The characters in the story are the friendly ladybug and the grouchy ladybug. Sixth question, how did the characters solve the problem? How did the story end? Very good. They both saw the aphids on a leaf so that they have food for their breakfast. Now, look at the illustration presented below. Notice that the events for the story are written inside the boxes. We call these boxes a graphic organizer. Graphic organizers can be used to show sequences of events in the story. First, at 5 o'clock in the morning, the friendly ladybug flew in from the left. Next, the ladybug saw a leaf with many aphids on it and decided to have them for breakfast. Then, Suddenly, a grouchy ladybug flew in from the right. Finally, the grouchy ladybug saw the aphids and wanted them for breakfast too. And now, for our activity, let us do Learning Task 1. For letter A, read the selection. Retell the events using the graphic organizer. Use the signal words first, next, then, and finally. Do this in your notebook. Let us read the story all together. Buddy and the Cat. Little Buddy Cockroach is a house bug. Mother Bug always tells him to stay in dark places and hide. He listens to her with half an ear, not really believing in what she says. How could they not like me? I have beautiful shiny wings and a long antenna. Surely they would love me, he thought. Then Buddy saw a black cat and said, I will show Mother Cockroach that she is wrong. But when the cat saw him, it immediately jumped and started running after him with its sharp claws. Buddy ran as fast as he could to the dark place under the cabinet and never ever came out. And now, let's organize the beginning, the middle, and the ending of the story using the graphic organizer. First, Little Buddy Cockroach is a house bug. Mother Bug always tells him to stay in dark places and hide. Next, he is not really believing in what his mother says. He thought that they would surely love him. Then, the black cat saw Little Buddy Cockroach and it immediately jumped and started running after him with its sharp claws. Finally, Buddy ran as fast as he could to the dark place under the cabinet and never came out. For the next activity, letter B, read the selection. Take note of the events by filling in the graphic organizer below. Write a sentence and draw a picture to show the correct order of the events from the story. Let us read the story all together. The Dog and His Image. Once there lived a proud huge dog under a bridge near the brook. He once stole a piece of meat and ran away. Down the road, he went and crossed the brook through a plank. Midway across it, he stopped and looked into the water. He thought he saw another dog with a piece of meat in his mouth. This meat looked larger to him than his own. I'll have it, growled he and sprang into the water. But he lost first the piece of meat and did not get the other, for what he saw was his own reflection. And now, let us fill in the blanks and draw inside the box. First, there lived a proud huge dog under a bridge near the brook. He once stole a piece of meat and ran away. Let us draw it. Next, he went and crossed the brook through a plank. He stopped and looked into the water. Let us draw it. Then, he thought he saw another dog with a piece of meat in his mouth. This meat looked larger to him than his own. Let us draw it. Finally, he growled and sprang into the water, but he lost first the piece of meat and did not get the other, for what he saw was his own reflection. Let us draw it. For Learning Task 2, letter A, arrange the events to form a story. Write each event in the appropriate box. Be guided by the signal words. So the first is in number 2. Alex woke up early in the morning. Next is in number 4. He had his breakfast and brushed his teeth. Then is in number 1. He went straight to the bathroom, then he dressed up. Finally is in number 3. He packed his things and went to school. Letter B. Read the events, then arrange the events logically using graphic organizer. How a news item reaches the newspaper. Let us arrange the events. First, an eyewitness calls the newspaper publisher. Next, the reporter heads to an accident scene. Then, the reporter sent the story to the editor through email, who double-checks it for accuracy, grammar, and spelling. Finally, the story is featured on the newspaper. For Learning Task 3, letter A, movies are stories as well. Think of your favorite movie and use graphic organizer in identifying important events. Here is your pattern. Write the movie title, and then first, next, then, and finally. Letter B. Choose your favorite story. Use graphic organizer in identifying the important events. Use the signal words first, next, then, and finally. Learning Task 4. Fill in the graphic organizer below with the appropriate orders of events. Use the signal words first, next, then, and finally to complete the sentence. Number 4 is the first event. First, there was a tiny egg. The eggs are laid by the mother on a very specific leaf. The next event is number 1. Next, the egg becomes a caterpillar. When the caterpillar hatches out of the egg, it immediately begins to eat the leaf it is on. Then, the next event is number 3. Then, the caterpillar built a home around itself. It forms itself into a chrysalis. Finally, the final event is number 2. Finally, a pretty butterfly came out. Number 1 is the first event. First, Lolo Peter planted seed. Number 2 is the next event. Next, it had more leaves and branches that were bigger. Then, number 3. Then a tiny leaf appeared. Finally, number 4. Finally, it had fruits. Fruits are good to eat when it is ripe. Remember, graphic organizers are visual charts and tools used to represent and organize a student's knowledge or ideas. They are often used as a part of the writing process to help students map out ideas, plot character details, and settings before beginning to write. The signal words like first, next, then, and finally are used to show the order of events. It also involves the ability to summarize and retell the events in a story or text in the order in which they happen. So kids, do you understand our lessons today? Wow! Good job! Kids, I hope you learned a lot from this lesson. Until our next topic, bye-bye kids! Thanks for watching!